Okay, welcome everybody. Uh, in the previous sessions, we were discussing and explaining what is Connect visualization and how you can do and what type of visualizations you can create. Now this session will be a little more technical because we will go deeper into the experience designer, is how you can create interactive visualizations within Connect. My name is Manuel, I'm part of the portfolio team of Connect Visualization. As today in these sessions, this is related to Connect, specifically to the visualization layer and how we can create a unified visualization within the information we have in Connect. As we explained it in the previous sessions, we have different three types of displays. We can create a grid and canvas visualizations, and then we will be focusing now on the experiences. You can create interactive visualizations where you can navigate through different type of content in order to create specific applications for different user personas and use cases. Before explaining how to build this type of experiences, I want to show you quickly a show video of the end result. So this is, for example, an experience where someone will have for their wind farm, in this example, where you will have maybe a visualization and overview of the wind farm, and then the user can navigate through the context. So for example, they can navigate to the different levels of the wind farm. They can go to a specific location. They can go to a specific turbine. So we will explain now in a few minutes how you can create this type of experience for your customers. You can create also something that will be consumed in a standard browser, but also you can create something that will be consumed in a device mobile. So this is an example for a tablet experience specifically designed for this type of devices, where maybe you will have the ability to navigate through different type of visualizations. Also, you can make it responsive using grid visualization, so the user can use any type of device, from a browser, from a tablet, portrait, landscape. Also, if they want, they can also use a mobile device. So now we will go deeper in order how to explain how you can build this type of experiences within Connect visualization. So in these experiences, like in any other visualization, you can add any type of content we have. So you can add time series data visualization, you can add MES or event visualization types, you can add all the asset information widgets, you can visualize 3D model, documents, asset properties, you can embed Power BI, you can add a map. And then also we have graphics. We have an out-of-the-box library, but then also, we explained it in the previous session, you can also import graphics created from system platform. We have many different options to build your content and your visualization. So, but in order to build the experiences, we have something that we call Experience Designer. Basically, this is where you can assemble your navigation through your content. So here is where you create your experience, you will be able to save, and you will be able to publish. When you publish an experience, it will be available for the users that has access to Connect. So one of the most important parts of an experience is the navigation. So here is where you can build your navigation hierarchy. You can create your custom navigation items, or also if you have a hierarchy from Connect, you can leverage this hierarchy, so you don't need to build your hierarchy manually, so you can just link to an asset, and all the hierarchy will be created automatically for you. Then, when you are building an experience, we will have a main layout. In this layout, we will have panes, and basically these panes, I will show you in a few minutes, you can host any type of Connect visualization content, any widget, any graphic. Also, you can embed any visualization grid and canvas. So it's very flexible. You can add any content to the different panes. It's live editing, is what you see, is what you get. It means when you are building your experience, you can see live what you are building, how it looks. So you don't need to publish, so you will see live what's going on. Of course, you can do a customization of the layout and the styling. You can set a color, a background image. There are multiple options. And then also when you publish your experience, there will be some interaction patterns. So if you are consuming this experience in a tablet, you will have touch capabilities. If you go to the expo, we have a few tablets, so you can play how it looks or how it works when you are running this in a touch device. So going deeper, this is the Experience Designer, and I will explain the different sections we have. So one of them is the navigation model. Here you will build your navigation model. We have also, this is the main layout. Here you will be able to split the layout in multiple panes. We will go deeper. Then when you are selecting a pane, a content, a visualization, you will have on the right the layout, the properties, maybe for the layout, maybe for the content, depending on what you are selecting on. And then in every pane of your layout, you can add different content. So previously, in the previous sessions, we explained that we have some content type for time series data, event data, graphics. But for the experience designer, we have 3 special content types that will allow you to navigate through your context. So we have navigation tree. It will allow the user in runtime to modify the selected asset, let's say. Also, if the user wants, we have a navigation bar you can use instead of a tree. It's more interactive and user-friendly. And then we have also a time selector. You can put horizontal or vertical, depending on your design. And then on the different panes, you can add any content directly, or you can also embed visualizations or grid. This content can be added manually, so you can go, browse, add, or one of the most powerful capabilities we have is the autofill. It means you can auto-populate content, so you could create an experience that will be dynamic, so you don't need to assign manually content for every pane for every asset. So all of this can be automatic. I will explain later. Also, when you are creating your experience and your layout, you need to keep in mind, as always, where this will be consumed. So if you are designing for a video wall, for a browser, you can see that later in the expo we have a big video wall, but also some browsers, etc. So you need to keep in mind where you are, where you will be consuming this experience. If it's the same form factor, it's not an issue. If you have the grid visualizations, it's perfect because they are responsive. But maybe if you are creating a canvas that is form factor, then maybe this will not work when you embed in a different form factor. So all of this you need to keep in mind when you are building experience for your users within your organization. So when you are creating your experience, you can add custom navigation items. That's okay. Then you can assign assets to the navigation items. This will help you later to auto-populate content in order to create something that will scale automatically within your organization. And when you are assigning an asset to your navigation item, you can just assign the asset, or if you want, you can assign the asset and all the hierarchy below them. So then, if you are selecting a York side, automatically all the assets will be added automatically. So you don't need to create manually again and again all your hierarchy. Then when you are selecting your navigation item, you can define autofill settings. This is not always mandatory. Of course, you can create a quick experience with 3 navigation items, you can add your content. But if you want to scale, autofill or auto-populate will help you. So for every navigation item, you can define if the content will be added manually or automatically. And then also you can define the rules. When you select your asset, within this rule, you can say, okay, please try to bring visualizations that are linked to this asset, or maybe try to find this visualization from the parent, from the child. So there are different options. So for every navigation item, you can define the autofill settings. And then for every pane within your experience, you can define the content type. Content type is what is some kind of category. When you are building a visualization, you are linking the visualization to an asset. You can assign a category. We call this content type. So this will be the rules used by the experience to auto-populate the content. So basically, when you have a navigation item, you can add manually a visualization or a content. But if this navigation item has an assigned asset, this content will bring automatically. So then, if you are building visualizations linking to visualizations and linking to types, automatically everything will be auto-populated. So then, for every content you are adding to your visualization, you can assign a time and asset context. So in any layer, for the entire experience, for the content, for the visualization, at any level, you will be able to define asset and time context. So it will be very, very flexible. So now I will put you a video, 2 minutes, where we will go through the entire workflow of creating an experience. So let me quick, and I will explain. So you can see, of course, it's an advanced designer for advanced users, but you can see how easy it is to create an experience. So basically, you will start adding your navigation items. You can assign an icon. You can create manually the navigation items, or you can maybe link to a specific asset. Here, we are still creating the hierarchy, but then I will assign this navigation item to an element in the hierarchy. So then when we are doing this, it will automatically bring all the assets behind this hierarchy. So this is the navigation model. Then you can start defining your layout. You can split your layout in multiple panes. You can assign content to every pane. So here we are adding a navigation tree, a navigation bar, a time selector. These will be the elements that will allow us to change the context in runtime. And then you can add manually content, or maybe you have created previously a visualization. This is what we are doing here. Or also we can assign the autofill rules. So here, in this example, we are still having a custom one, but in the next one, instead of adding manually content, we will configure for the pane some autofill rules. We will say, okay, I want to autofill with content that has this category, this content type. So when we do this, when we select an asset, the experience will try to bring content that will follow these rules. So that's all. We have created our experience, navigation model, we assigned the content, then basically we can just finalize in order to publish it. So basically we will set a background image. For example, it will look beautiful. You can assign a thumbnail, so when the people is browsing experience, they will find, they will recognize it better. That's all. Then the user can save, or can save and publish. When it's published, it will be available for the users within Connect. So then the user, once it's published, when they go to the home page or they browse experiences, they will automatically find the experience. They can just run, and then they will see what I was showing you at the beginning of the session. They can navigate through the different elements. So with that, I have completed my speech. So if you have any question, please let us know. We have also some gifts if you have any question. So please let us know. Thank you very much.
Thank you.